Hey y'all, welcome to Yada Huda Huda Yada, where the hosts are hot and the takes are hotter.
Hi, B. It's the gala, girl. All right, call me back.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so today I have my coffee, I have my opinions, I have my attitude, I'm ready to go.
I have my La Croix.
So, get your drink
And
let's
lock
talk.
in.
As y'all know, we're gonna start with I won't be taking questions. Now today, I won't be taking questions about I don't want to pay on a first date. I know the girls want to go 50-50, the girls want to go Dutch, and I'm a feminist. And I was gonna say I don't have to say this. Yes, you do. There are Candace Owens out there.
Right,
You actually do have to say it.
Right.
I am a feminist. So, and part of that means that women can choose. You know, everyone can choose what they want to do. I will not be paying on a first date. Some would say, or a second or a third date, but
So ever.
So well, yes. So that's mine. I won't be taking questions.
No, and I agree. I actually don't think women should pay on a first date. I'm not even straight, so I'm really.
If only you were straight, ladies.
I'm just fighting for my girls here.
Thank you.
I'm a girl's girl. I stand up for women. I believe that y'all should be taken care of.
I agree.
Whatever happened to traditional values? No, I'm kidding. But I don't know. Chivalry, still exists. There's just some things that, I don't know, feel right.
And I get, the economy is hard. I get it. The price of chicken wings. You know what I mean?
And
Everything is up. But don't date. I don't know. I don't know what you
but
do.
I do support women that want to. I just feel like
support.
if you can take a little bit of advantage of the patriarchy and some of these gender norms that exist, that's one that y'all should take advantage of. Be paid for. No, I agree. I actually went on a date and we were both getting drinks and I pulled out my card and the guy said, "No, shut up." And I was like, "Wait, no, let me pay for mine." He was like, "No, put that away. Go sit down." And I was like,
Did it do
I'm
something to you?
turned on.
Yeah.
And we went to go get a second round.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, I'll get this one." He was like, "No, my cards are up there. It's easier." And I was like, "No, it's fine. You already got the first one." He was like, "Do not move. Stay right here. I'll be right back." And I was like, I should be taken care of like this.
And here's the thing. Because some of my girls, they want to be submissive. They want to be, and I get that. And that's not where it comes from me at least, right? It's not like I'm like, "Oh, yes, I want to do whatever you say." And that comes with you paying for everything. I do like the feeling of being taken care of. I think as I'm getting older and my love languages adjust, right? Before it was like words of affirmation, my body down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before it was like, all you have to do is tell me I'm pretty and tell me you love me and I was enough. Now, what have you done for me lately? You know what I mean? It feels like acts of service are kind of going up for me in terms of it doesn't have to be buying things, but action is really show me instead of tell me.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it comes from. But don't you like the ooh and the girls?
It feels nice to be taken care of.
feels
I'm not even a
so
woman.
And
And it's dangerous out here for y'all. If you are a man and you show me that you're gonna take care of me, that is a way on a first date of kind of taking care of someone. It's oh, let me take care of the bill for you.
And
I got you.
Date is, we're both actors. A date is an audition.
Oh.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. I see that.
You see it.
I can see it.
And so
That's a way to think of it.
it is. You're auditioning to be a part of somebody's life, right? Because when I'm dating, and maybe this is another episode, but
This is another episode.
You're auditioning to be a part of somebody's life on both ends, right? It's not just the man or just one person auditioning to be a part of the other person's life, or multiple people as we get into today's topic. But the idea is, if you show me that you're someone who cares about taking care of me and who cares about showing up in that way, then I like that. So the question is, if you do have to go Dutch and it's 50-50, is it a turnoff, I guess?
Right. And it sounds like it is for you.
And that's okay, right? Because we don't have to date.
That's okay. Okay.
You don't have to date me.
So my won't be taking questions is actually very straightforward. There is not a single white person in this world that should have dreads.
Oh.
White passing is very different.
Yeah.
Because it really is about texture,
I was gonna
right?
say there are gonna be
there are mixed race people that are. Why did I say mixed race?
I don't know.
that felt
said it. It
nasty.
felt
It sounded like colored or something.
Ooh, it did.
I don't know. But there are mixed people who have textured hair, right? Like for them, it makes sense. I'm talking about Caucasians,
Okay.
European descent.
Around the caucus.
Yeah, around the caucus. And they have caucasity to do this. Like there's a caucasity of being a white person and doing
Where
dreads.
is this coming from? Like this?
Oh, I have a person that lives on my street, and every single morning I see him, I know that it's gonna be a bad morning.
Oh.
When I see him walking down the street. He has these old like gray, just matty dreads that like you can tell that he's just like, you just don't wash your hair. Like it just doesn't look, you just don't look kempt. Like, and he wears these like really tight, way too tight tank tops and these shorts that he just looks a mess. But that aside, it's really the dreads that do it for me.
Right.
Like I see a white person with dreads and I just get mad.
And to whoever this sir is, I didn't know. I didn't know this was coming from a person. But
I'm sorry. If you're watching this, I hope you are actually, because you should just cut it off. You'll look better. Everything will be better. I'm sure your hair won't even itch as much as I know it does.
Yeah, because it's not made for that. It's like when white girls try to get box braids, like it slips out because your texture is not made for that.
It's just not made for that.
It's not made for that. Sorry, you caught a straight. It wasn't a straight.
It actually wasn't a straight. It was kind of targeted.
It was a point blank.
Point blank. Push the wig back.
Okay. So I agree. And you weren't taking questions, so it's fine.
Okay. Let's get into this episode today. Come get to the couch.
Get to the couch.
Okay, so today we're gonna be talking about. Ooh, it's not us teasing it.
Right. Watch them be like, who cares?
Yeah. Open relationships and poly relationships.
Period.
I have a lot of experiences with open relationships, and I have a recent experience with poly relationship. How about you?
You go. It's almost the opposite, which is why we wanted to have this conversation. One of the reasons why, because we have a lot of opinions. I have much more relationship experience with poly relationships and fewer with open relationships, and we'll get into the sort of reason why. But we both lived in San Diego for 8 years. San Diego, I'm on your ass.
Nasty down.
Yeah, no.
Honestly, fuck you, San Diego.
No, because I love San Diego as a place. However, there is something chemically in the water. This has not been studied yet, except for my anecdotal experience with studying. There's something in the water that breeds poly niggas.
Y'all are open. Y'all are all poly. Y'all are kinky, which that one I do like. But
wow,
y'all, it's so almost antithetical to what you would think of San Diego, because y'all are so laid back. Y'all just want to go to the beach, and you work at a coffee shop, and your life's super chill, or you're rich, and you have a house, or you live in a van. I said van. You live in a van, and you have a cabal of bitches.
You have a cabal. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Give me one
8.
bitch, I'm gonna open my legs. Give me 2 bitches, I'm gonna open my legs.
It's bad. It's a cabal of bitches, which is something that I started saying to Morgan, and I love that Morgan has adopted, because there's no other way to describe it.
And I don't know how you fit the 37 bitches in a van.
The math never made sense to me. But let's break it down. So there are a couple of key differences, and we'll maybe put a little definition. We're gonna start with open.
Open, yeah. And then we'll go with poly.
And these are just gonna be probably like Urban Dictionary definitions or whatever. But the idea is you get to decide. Again, there are things that I like about it, which is like these relationships cause you to think about relationship dynamics in a different way. And we'll get when we sort of come to the end of the conversation about what that looks like. But like open, just to give us a working definition that we'll be working from in this conversation. If you have more things you want to add, of course, put it down below in the comments. But my understanding, at least, is open relationships are more geared towards you have your sort of core relationship that you have with a person. Outside of that, you're not necessarily dating other people, meaning forming romantic relationships with other people, but you are having sex with other people or sexual experiences with other people. That's open. Poly, we have your central relationship, right? And then you are dating outside of this relationship, forming other. My boyfriend has a girlfriend, has a boyfriend, has a whatever.
Yep.
Outside of that, is that your understanding?
Yeah. I think in like short terms, open is a lot more about sexual exploration outside of your relationship, but there's no emotional investment or commitment to other people. And poly is about the step further in which you might have a primary partner, or you might have, everybody might be equal, but there is an emotional investment and connection to other people besides your partner, and maybe even abutting multiple relationships in life building. So,
and it can get complex.
Right, because there's different types of poly. And,
that's exactly what I was going to say too. Like there's kitchen table polyamory, and we won't go down all the different types of poly.
Yeah.
There's kitchen table polyamory, which is that's where you have your sister wives, right? That's where like everyone
hate.
Right.
But if that works for you, I love it.
And
for you, I hate it for me.
And sound off if y'all maybe this is a conversation to like bring someone who like we've had experiences with poly and open, but someone who's like poly my body down. Like I love it.
Yeah.
Let us know if y'all want us to have, because we have people in our orbit or there's other people. Let us know if y'all want us to have someone on. Who, like, debate is strong, because what works for you works for you. Can't nobody tell you it works for you. But like to bring up sort of the merits of poly, because we can talk about the demerits.
We're gonna talk about the demerits, because that's our experience. But yeah, I would be interested in hearing from someone who it's worked for a long period of time.
Yeah. And we've met those people. We've dated them. I won't be talking.
Right. I know people who it works for them. I've never dated somebody who I would say it works for. Because ours didn't work. Ooh. And I was the first one. So, anyways, we'll get into it.
So there's kitchen table poly where you're dating either each other, right? So my boyfriend has a girlfriend and I'm dating the girlfriend, or my boyfriend has another boyfriend or a then friend.
Yeah.
Shout out to our non-binary royalty. You know what I mean? And we're dating each other as well. So it's all of us, or we're in some relationship to each other. We're friends and he brings her around and we're all together, whatever.
So if Mary, John, Joseph, and Jacob are dating.
Very biblical.
And it's 3 guys too.
Yeah, I was like, there's one girl here and you could have been married for some spice.
I did. I wanted to be Mark, John, Jacob, and Joseph. But if they're in a kitchen table polyamorous thing, Mark and John can be dating, but also Mark could be dating Joseph.
Right.
And he could be best friends with Jacob.
Period.
But Jacob could be dating Joseph.
Right.
And he could be like, they don't all have to be
Mary
dating.
was left out.
I said Mark. I switched it to Mark. But they don't all have to be dating.
Mary.
But they all fuck, Mary, kill. Fuck, kill, Mary.
Well.
No, they don't all have to be dating. They just all have to be in some relation to each other and like know each other and be involved in each other. Maybe live together, but also maybe just okay.
As opposed to other types of poly, like hierarchical poly, right?
That's my experience.
And that's most of my experience too, because I don't want to be around. My kitchen table ain't that big. I don't want to actually know your girlfriend. Like that's too much for me. But and we'll get into why. Yeah, we'll get into it. But hierarchical poly, right, is the idea that okay, I have my primary partner, or if you live with that primary partner, sometimes people call it my nesting partner, whatever. And that is my main, right? And then from there, I have I have another girlfriend, or I have a secondary or a tertiary partner. Girl, you see why there's a lot.
It's a lot. I can't even fathom having the bandwidth to have multiple partners like that at one time. I can barely date one person more than one person at a time. Like properly date one person.
Because you remember Kaya in San Diego. Like, I can date multiple
Just
people.
San Diego?
Oh.
Girl.
Who are you working for? Which one of them put you out to this?
Say their names. Name will be said on here. No,
Anyways, so your girl believes in dating until someone gives me a reason to and shows me enough consistency to believe that, you know, we're locking in and you're my, you know, you're my primary partner. You're my only partner.
Right.
And we lock in that way. You know what I mean? So I think I have the bandwidth, though that is decreasing with time.
Mm-hmm.
And just as experience of men, like, I'm like, y'all actually take a lot of energy. But so I have the bandwidth, but it is a sense of like, time is finite. Emotionality is like finite. And if one partner has just lost a job and another partner is like going through something at work and
right.
like at a certain point, girl,
I cannot. I know I couldn't handle it because I could barely handle it when I was dealing with it, and I couldn't handle if I was going through something really hard and I called my fucking boyfriend and I was like, oh my God, like I'm going through this, and he was like, hey, I'm so sorry, I really want to be here for you tonight, but I'm actually with my other girlfriend, I need to give her attention, or other boyfriend, why did I say girlfriend? Other boyfriend, whatever. I really need to give them their attention tonight. Can we talk about this tomorrow?
Yes.
That would break me.
Yes.
Like, that would make me feel like you are not there for me when I need you. And I can understand that that's the type of relationship setup we have. So there is an element of like, I have to respect that, but that's not what I want.
Yeah.
So I don't want that kind of relationship.
Right. And I think there's a certain sense of, and again, we're talking about what works for us. Poly, for some people, I get. And what I love about the tenets, the idea behind poly is, right? Like, sure, love is infinite, and I don't even believe like we have one soulmate or there's one person you're supposed to be. I believe you can have multiple people who you love. 100 boots. I believe in that. But I also think that there's a sense of like commitment that I do enjoy, that I like. And if me and my boyfriend have something going on and his girlfriend want to say something to me, put your hands up, bitch. Put your hands up because we're fighting. You know what I mean? And so that tells me, maybe you're not built for poly relationships because there is a certain sense of, now that can be a boundary that you set, obviously, but there is a certain sense of, if I'm calling you and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry, I gotta be with my man, and then I'm like, well, I'm gonna be with my man, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I've been through that jealousy with just open relationship of like, my partner's like, oh, like, can I go to this hookup tonight? And like, I'm like, okay, and then it's like, now I feel like I want to go to a hookup because like, well, you're not gonna fuck me, so now I'm like jealous, and now I'm like, okay, well, I gotta get it in, so now I feel even, like,
there's a lot. There's a lot that happens.
We actually have a really funny, almost like throuple situation. Like, it's so funny too because it was like the beginning of our friendship.
It was.
Too.
We have to get into the story. You tell it. I love when you tell it.
You love when I tell it because I'm probably gonna leave some out.
Okay.
So we met in grad school, as we said in the last episode, and I had just broken up or gone through a breakup with my like first serious boyfriend like the first week of grad school. And I was really, really looking for love in San Diego. I really was, as much as I was like, whatever, I'm not gonna even get into all that. But I matched with this like hot Viking kind of looking guy on on Tinder. And I guess we can't say his name. What should we call him? Viking.
Okay.
No? You have something?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, so Viking, I don't like that.
It feels.
I don't feel right.
It feels.
Mr. Beard?
Yeah.
Okay. So Mr. Beard. So I matched with Mr. Beard, and he was fine. Like, his body was like, muscles and definition. He had this sexy beard, and he was just a good-looking man. And we started talking on Tinder, and I find out that he's married and has a wife that he lived with in grad housing. Which all of that together is just right. And I was like, oh, he was like, I'm poly and like I want to date or whatever, or like, I'm looking. And so we set up a date. And then I'm hanging out with Kaya and she's like, oh my God, I matched with this really hot dude. And I was like, wait, show me. And she shows me and she's like, look. And I'm like, wait, I matched with him too. And she was like, no way. And I was like, yeah, I have a date with him tomorrow. She's like, wait, my date's on Saturday. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, well, he is poly. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, wait, should we like try to be in a throuple with him? Like, I hope both of our dates go well. Like, we should offer this up to him.
And I'm gonna jump in and let you keep going. So he's poly and obviously pan because he has pansexual, so he has a wife already. And I was very much like, I'm not gonna be like Molly from Insecure. Shout out to my Insecure girlies who, you know, she's like, oh, I won't date this man because he's bisexual.
Yeah.
No bi-erasure here. So I was like, wait, this is spicy.
This is fun. Like, I'm like in my mid-20s. I'm like, wait, I'm gonna be a throuple.
Yes,
like, this is so cute. So I go on a date with him. It was like very chill. He was hot, and I really wanted to like hook up with him. Did I like him a ton? No. Would I have hung out with him again? Yes. Was it probably with the like hope of hooking up? Yes. But I would have seen him again, nonetheless. We didn't even kiss at the end of the date, and that was on me being shy, but also like, I don't know, maybe he just wasn't really interested either, but whatever. Then the next day, Kaya goes on her date, and you can say how it went.
It was, it was.
Wait, that's how I remember.
It was good.
Okay.
It was good. We did a lot of walking and talking.
I think we probably did the same little hike around.
Yes. It's okay. You have listen. And he made some comment about like, oh, I date so many people, like there's like a line, and I was like, bitch, me too. You know what I mean? But so you clearly repeat a first date. It's obviously you don't expect us to know each other as well as we do.
Right.
So whatever. But it was fine. It was good. And I will say, as you were just saying it, I was like, this is my truth too. Like he was hot, and that's why I was there. And I'm not even trying to drag him too much because it's gonna be like obviously very obvious to him if he ever watches this, like who he is. But you know when somebody is like just trying so hard to be seen as an intellectual, that's how it felt.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
He was definitely trying to do that.
Yeah, and I would say our first date there was a lot of chemistry. There was a lot of sparks. We did kiss. At the end of the day, but that's also me. Like, if I don't kiss you at the end of my first date, I don't feel like it.
I was hoping he would kiss me,
yeah,
and then he didn't,
yeah.
And so then I was like, well, damn, I'm mad that I didn't at least try to go for
and that's
it.
Real.
But also, like, we didn't have like a ton of chemistry,
and that's real.
We just didn't.
Yeah.
But then I remember after your date, you had said it went really well, and we were like, wait, we have to text him. Like, we have to try to make this happen. Like, maybe you should tell him the next time you see him or whatever. And then I texted him, and I was like, hey, like, would love to see you again.
Y'all
like,
had plans to like go to the
we had planned to go.
And, like,
oh my god, you remember that?
Yes.
Oh my god, yes. He texted me. He was like, yeah, I have to go to the store. Do you want to come? And like this and that. And I was like, okay, this is also a really weird second date, but like again, like times were hard. Like San Diego was like
we were in grad school. All his days were like running errands.
Oh, that was dark time. Anyways, and so we had planned, and I was like, oh, like, do you still want to hang out or whatever? And he was like, actually, like, you know, I'm like seeing quite a few people, and I just saw this other person that I really like, and I think like, you know, you're really cool, and if you want to be friends, like, I might be down, but like, I don't know if like I want to date. And I remember telling Kaya and being like, he doesn't like me, like our sister wives moment is gone.
It was so short-lived. Someone say it didn't even happen, and I was hurt. Like,
well, and then I remember being like, what about you? And she was like, yeah, so he wants to see me again one day.
It felt like America's Next Top Model, and he was like, I have 2 girls stand before me, and he flipped out my picture, but I wanted it to be a group photo.
Right.
I wanted it to be a group photo that he flipped out, but it was just my picture, and I was shocked because I don't know. Again, we were in our early mid-20s, and it felt like, oh my God, we're like, yes.
Yeah.
And we're obviously so close. Like, we weren't going to have sex. It wasn't going to be kitchen table.
No.
But it was going to give, like, oh my God.
It kind of was going to give kitchen table.
It was going to give kitchen
but
table.
But we would have just been friends.
Exactly. And so I think that was, I don't know, that was
like,
fun.
we had a dream of him right here in the middle, you on one shoulder, me on the other shoulder. Just
It would have hit. It would have hit. And he really, I didn't know we were on the chopping block that early. I thought there was going to be multiple dates.
Same.
And then I guess I can tell how it ended for us.
Oh, yeah.
I just remember.
Oh, yeah, because you kind of
there were a couple dates.
I was going to say dated
we
him.
Dated.
Like, yeah.
There were a couple dates. Our second date, I don't remember what we did. I remember our third date, we were like watching a movie at my place or what. And it's like getting, like I said, there's good chemistry. It was getting like emotionally deep, but it was also getting pretty physically deep.
Mm-hmm.
Pause. And I was like, okay. I remember at one point I invited him back to my grad school housing room, whatever. I did not have the best roommate luck. I hated my roommate at the time. Disgusting roommate. And anyway, so we're in my room, or maybe we're in the living room, watching a movie on the TV. My roommate comes in. Me and my roommate are not even like really even like kikiing, speaking. Like my roommate just walks by, and so then Mr. Beard gets upset. You forgot what we were gonna call him. Mr. Beard gets upset that I did not introduce him to my roommate, and I'm like, that's not even. I don't even fuck with that bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why am I introducing you? I don't even know that bitch.
You're like, I don't even know his name.
I don't like. What are you talking about? Like, huh? And this was like a real bit. Like, he was upset that I did not. Which is also this is our third date.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I get him being like, oh, like you don't. I get him asking a question about it.
I get him asking,
but once you're like, oh, I'm not really friends with him. We don't really talk. Like, it's.
And I would understand if it was my friend. Like,
right.
I would understand if you came in or one of our shared friends came in and was like, oh, hey, Kaya, da, 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 and we're kikiing, and I'm acting like he doesn't exist. I would get that. But somebody walks right on past. I told you, I don't even fuck with that hoe. And you're like, well, you still should have introduced me? Like, what?
Yeah.
And then I think after that, we were like, we should break
Well, I remember actually... I remember at one point he brought up, and I'm gonna say Plato. I hope this rings a bell. Was it not Plato? He brought up some book. He had some.
It was James Baldwin.
Oh,
James Baldwin. He loved James Baldwin. It was the cave allegory.
Oh, and see, I still don't even know what that is, right? So you go into the cave, and is the cave a cave?
Well, it's a cave, and then there are shadows on the wall, and it's like.
I don't know. Please give me the allegory.
It's a whole thing, and I don't even want to get into it.
I'm like, we can teach the people a little bit. What is Plato's cave allegory? So there's shadows on the wall and you're in a cave. Are the shadows real? If a shadow makes a light in the day, does it make a sound?
What?
You know that metaphor about
if a tree falls and no one's there to hear it, doesn't make a sound.
So for
if
a long
time, shadow makes a light in the day, because a shadow is never going to make a sound you hear. I mean, you see.
Really quickly, that metaphor... The other day, I was talking with Sierra and Tiziano, and I was like, that just doesn't make sense to me. Like, it made a sound.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, but the whole thing is it's about
sound
perception.
Has to be
and so it's like, if you don't perceive it. But I'm like, it did make a sound, and I got it for a second, and now I'm kind of back to not really getting it. Like, the perception thing of it.
This is like when we were talking about have your cake and eat it too.
Which I get now.
Yeah.
Which I get now.
Let's get a quick definition of Plato's allegory of the cave. It compares the effects of education or lack thereof in our nature. It describes prisoners chained in a cave, only able to see shadows on the wall, which they mistake for reality because it's all their perception, or it's all they have to perceive. One prisoner escapes, experiences the true world outside, and then returns to enlighten the others, only to be rejected and ridiculed, right? Because again, they think the shadows on the wall is the whole world. They think that is reality. And then someone else goes out and experiences another perception of reality,
right.
Goes back and then tries to explain that to the people for whom their reality is only the shadows, and they don't believe that.
Do they know that they're shackled?
Well, I guess. Do they know that they're shackled?
Well, because I'm like, to know that you're shackled would inherently imply that.
You know that you're shackled, but it really is, like, I think these people have been chained since birth.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they just think this is life.
Wall, so this is just life.
Interesting. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like people who grew up in certain circumstances who can't even imagine, like, before social media and things like that, can't even imagine that there is a world outside of their world.
Right.
I don't even remember why he brought it up.
But I do remember that he did bring it up, and he referenced James Baldwin, and that really pissed you off because, like, he was doing that thing, like you said, where he was, like, trying to sound intellectual and smart, and you were like, this allegory actually makes no sense and has no ties to whatever you're trying to say it does.
He was like, oh, it's the Matrix. It's the...
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's too much. And then... Actually, I remember something else, but we don't even have to get into that.
Oh, God. You remember so much more of it than I do.
I hope Mr. Beard isn't watching. Well, honestly, if he is, who cares?
Yeah.
There was a testing scare, right?
Oh, this was after we broke up.
Right.
This was after we broke up. I forgot about this.
Yeah.
This is why I come working. I remember things, he remembers different things, and it's helpful. Yes, before we had ever had sex, which if you're, everyone should do, period. But especially if you're poly, and especially if you're open and you're, having sex with multiple partners, you should of course get tested frequently and then share your test results. Know your status.
Know your status.
So. And black women, like, we need to get tested for HIV. Black women should really be on PrEP. I was actually just watching this other podcast where they were talking about this. Interesting, whatever.
I'm on PrEP. Shout out to Scooby.
Period. Maybe I should get on. Anyways, so we shared our status before we had any sort of sexual relations with each other. And then later, after we broke up, he's like, oh, I don't remember what it was, but he was like, hey, I had this come up on a test for me, like, maybe.
I remember, but I'm not gonna share.
Okay, good. And he was like, maybe, I want to say that he said maybe you should get tested, but what I remember is he was really insinuating that it was me.
Right.
And especially at that time, I wasn't dating other people.
You were not in a huge dating phase.
I
was only dating him.
I was only dating him. I was not in a huge dating phase. So I was like, are you calling me a dirty bedwetter, nasty bitch? Like, what are you doing here?
Meanwhile, he was the one with the cabal.
I was like, you're the one with the cabal. He at one point said to both of us, like, my dream is just to live, like, on a farm somewhere with a bunch of bitches. And we should have known that we were dealing with a cult leader at that time. And it didn't register to us.
A future Charles Manson.
And it didn't register to us. And I'm going to write a book called Uncultivable. I didn't take that off. I didn't take that off because somebody didn't steal my idea. Somebody's gonna steal my idea. But I have strong feelings about cults and the people who are in them. And so we should have known that we were dealing with a cult leader at that point. But he was like, no, I just think, and it's like free love, and it's so 60s, and it's so da-da-da. And you know what there was a lot of in the 60s? Yes, free love, serial killers. So maybe it's not a time that we need to idealize.
Yeah. Right? Okay, so that was like our first.
Yeah,
was that your first
springboard? I think so.
Because that was my first, like, kind of
I think so.
poly-esque experience.
If it wasn't my first, it was like happening in conjunction with my first.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, that was my first, like, experience with poly. And to your thing about free love, I think I was open to that because in my first serious relationship, I never thought I would be open. I never thought I would play around with that. I had heard about it probably in college and after college, but like it was not something that I thought was going to be for me. I was a monogamous. I am quick to feel unwanted, unloved, and uncared for. Like I need to be loved down. We're healing and we're going through that, so. I'm able to do it healthier now.
And I think it's fair to say, like,
But at that time, like, I didn't. And in my first serious relationship, we were both applying to grad school. And so probably like 3-4 months in, when we started getting serious, we were like, wait, like, if we're going to get serious about this, what are we going to do if we both get into grad school? Like, we're going to be apart, like, next year. And we were like, do we need to be open? And looking back, I think part of that honestly stems from, like, gay culture in general of like open relationships and feeling like, is that a standard or a thing? But like we definitely were like, oh, I guess we'll need to be open if we're gonna make this work, because we were both horny people and we were like, so let's practice it now while we're together to like work out the kinks of it. And it was kind of this thing of like, well, love doesn't have to look a certain way and we can radicalize and free up how we view love, and like it doesn't have to be heteronormative or like be in this like standard kind of way. And so I think that I was open to that experience because of the way that I was sort of trying to expand my definition of what love could be and what love could look like.
And I think it comes from, and I'm so glad you said that, right? I think it comes from such a well-meaning place. And this is why I'm like, maybe poly does work for some people, right? Because the idea that like love doesn't have to look a certain way and you're able to, have really frank conversations around what you need and what feelings you're feeling and experiencing. I think those are great things. And maybe even the idea that like sex is, unless you're asexual or have a lower sexual drive or whatever that is, like, sex is a thing that we crave and we desire, and especially if people are far apart. I get the idea that it feels like, or maybe I shouldn't speak for you, I'll speak for myself. It felt like, oh, this is me being mature, right? I'm being mature about this because it feels like, of course we're gonna want sex, and of course if I'm gone or I'm not around, he's gonna want sex from someone else, and that feels adult to say, yeah, as long as we set up boundaries around it, like, yeah, that's something that you can go get elsewhere. Is that how you feel?
It does kind of feel, I did feel like I was being mature. And like, I was being, you know, expansive, and I was being revolutionary. And I felt like yes, like we can still love, but it doesn't have to look the way we thought.
Yes.
Our love is unconditional, it's boundless. Like,
and I drank the poly propaganda.
The
poly propaganda punch. You know what I mean? Because
I started with the open juice, and then you went, and then I went to the poly propaganda,
and then I vomited. And, like, there's a sense of like, oh, because this is another like tenet of polyamory, and again, maybe we should get somebody who loves this shit so we can have a conversation. The idea of like jealousy is bad. And if you are feeling jealous, that's something you need to work out. And like it comes from this idea of control, right? And you're trying to control the other person. And so I felt, you said we should talk about this on the podcast, which is why we're here.
Yeah, I'm getting triggered.
Right? And so I really bought into it. And I was like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Like I wouldn't want somebody to control me. And so I don't want to control another person. And so therefore I should be really expansive in this idea, and it felt mature, it felt radical, it felt all of those things. And what I think it didn't allow me access to is the idea that not coming from a place of control, but coming from, again, a desire, a boundary, a goal for myself of like, no, I want someone who is choosing me and only me for the time that we're in our relationship.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, right? I can feel like, you know, I can feel like, oh, if we have an argument, you're gonna be able to go to somebody else and get sex and and it maybe does not spur you on as much to fix things with me. I don't know. There can be so many what ifs, but at the end of the day, that is my boundary.
Yeah.
And it feels there's so much to the idea that we were sort of pulled away from those boundaries because it felt immature, it felt closed off, and we're so left-leaning and we're so radical in our thinking sometimes that it feels like, oh, why is this not something that we should also break down? So my question for you is, we literally, Morgan made us write our questions on a napkin from
Kayo-chan.
Now, I almost don't want to tell you to just buy Kayo-chan because...
Don't look her up.
Don't look her up.
She's fake.
But Kayo-chan, if you do want to sponsor us, like, I actually sponsor you. I'm there all the time. I clock in like it's my job.
And I should have a tax refund for the amount that I
tax
spent
refund.
for you. Like, give me a break. I should be able to write it off.
I should 100%.
I should get paid. And honestly, we should be influencers for that.
We should be. And if you don't have influencers, start with us. Okay. Do open relationships work? It's a hard question.
That's quick. I can't speak for everyone, and I want to. No. Okay. I'm going to answer the question, and then I'm going to talk. Do they work? I think the short answer is they can work. As a person who is at a point in my life where I am not interested in open relationships, that feels crazy to say because I'm setting that boundary for myself. But I've spent most of my 20s and both of my serious relationships have been open. So I spent the last decade exploring open relationships, which is, I won't say it's nice, it is what it is. And I feel like I've sort of come full circle and I actually feel more grounded and like strong in what I want out of a sort of long-term relationship. I think that if you are with a partner for a really long time to the point where you both are family, and you know, every relationship is shakeable to some extent. I mean, divorces happen at any time, and you could think they're not going to happen in 25 years and then all of a sudden they do. So I don't want to say that. But I've seen relationships, and especially like older gay ones, where, you know, they've been together for so long and they're not really interested in having sex with each other anymore, and they're open, and they have a family and they have kids, but they're open to hooking up with other people, or maybe they don't have kids, but something that I notice about those that feel healthy is that there really is an element of respect. And this was something that I think in both of my prior relationships sometimes felt not super, the boundary wasn't as on my side, at least what I would want. But I used to hook up with this guy in San Diego, it's like daddy, and I love hooking up with him, oh my God. I just had so much fun. But I wouldn't get to see him often because he was only free if he got off of work at a certain time. And if it was after a certain time, he was like, oh, I want to see you, but I have to go home. And I was like, oh, you can't just like stop by after for a little? He was like, it's just about respect. Like, I gotta be home. Like, my partner's home. Like, I gotta go. Right? So it was never, he knew, like, his priority was to his partner. I was like fun. And if it fit in, that's cool. But he knew that he needed to go home after work. And I'm talking like, you know, he would usually get off of like, if there was a chance to see him, it would be like between like 8:30 and 9. Like if he got off of work at 9:15, he was like, I gotta go home. Like if he was done work at 8:30, he'd be like, okay, I can come right over really quick. But like there was a short window in which there was time, and if there wasn't, he was like, I gotta go home to my man. And that is the way I think it works too, as in like, yes, you can have sex with other people, but this isn't your priority. It's not necessarily something you need, and you're very willing to like not do it because you want to go home to the person that you're with. So those are the times when I think it works. Other than that, I really do think it just opens you up to, I don't know, more possibility of heartache, more possibility of betrayal, more possibility of like leaning into the poly thing. Like, I think if you're with someone and you're happy with them and you're attracted to them, it's like we are so seeky these days, and everything is so fast to get. And in gay culture, I mean, Grindr, I mean, sniffies. Like, I had the sniffy shirt on last week, but like, you can get sex so easily that it feels like less serious and less emotional all the time, at least. Yeah. So then when you are in a relationship, it feels like, okay, well, this is still a thing that I could do. Yeah. But like, what if you were just happy and content and leaned into that? Yeah. What if you were like, I really like this person, I choose this person, like they make me happy. What if you allow your sexual relationship with one person to grow and expand, instead of being like, okay, my sex with this person is this, I'm gonna go hook up with this other person because they give me this thing, and I'm gonna hook up with this person this thing. And what if you allow yourself to like explore with that one person and grow in some kind of ways? I also think that, like, again, my first one, it felt situational, right? And we were so young, like we really were exploring it together. And he did a really good job at one point when I was like, I would always get so jealous, and he at one point was just like, what do you need me to do to like make you feel better? And I was like, I need you to do this and this, and he started doing it, and it did make me feel better. Yeah. But he also would sometimes be like, I would be like, oh, can I come over tonight? And he'd be like, oh no, like I have to do a paper, and then he would like go to a hookup for like 3 hours, and he'd be like, oh, I helped them clean their room. And I was like, but you told me I couldn't come over because you had to do homework, right? And you just were gone.
Helping them clean their room is crazy.
3 hours with shoes, who then sent you home with a pair of shoes. Like, I remember this, there was a nickname of this guy's shoes, because he would send him home with shoes. Or one time he said that he gave him like a jock strap or something. I was like, this just feels, he was like, oh, I helped this dude with his resume. I was like, why does that make me feel weird? Like,
because you know it's attached to this other thing, right? Like, you know it's attached to the sexuality. And this is the point that I thought of as you were saying all of that. Like, it's not that monogamy or commitment to one person is the standard in terms of like, it's not easy, right? A lot of people who are real, I wanted to call them poly activists, but I don't think it's that deep. But
they
like,
are.
You know what I mean? A lot of people who are proponents of polyamory, and they practice it in ways that, again, are healthy and work for the adults in the relationship. They will say like, well, we're not hardwired for monogamy and da 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 da. We're not hardwired for any time. I mean, the shit that we literally drive in cars now. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're not hardwired for
I agree.
a lot of this.
Yeah, we're not hunters and gatherers anymore. Our
Exactly.
hardwiring is also like, I mean, let's not get into the biology of it all.
Right, and there is, it's a choice. It's a choice that you make. And my skepticism, or the reason that I feel like open and poly don't work for me, is that making that choice gets less attractive when you're like, I have these options and I can take advantage of any option at any, right? Because yes, you can decouple sex from relationships, right? We're sexually liberated people. You can go ahead and you can just have sex with someone and it can just be sex. I believe that.
Yeah.
And I think that when you do open yourself up like that to another person, you can also start to feel, it's like why show romances, you know what I mean? Like the idea that like you're in such intimate settings with the same person consistently.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, and then I help you with your homework, and then oh maybe your relationship, you know what I mean? Like things bud out of your control.
Yeah.
And I think I'm allowing the person that I'm in a committed relationship with to then put himself in situations where this can bud and create.
Yeah.
And who am I to say, or who is anyone to know what can come up? You know what I mean?
Right, because there's some ways, like that could happen at any point with anything at work. But why am I going to allow you to put your, like, or why am I going to want you to put yourself in situations in which that could come up? Like, and sex is one of the most intimate moments, so that's the easiest way for it to come up.
And then I remember being at a point in relationships where I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll do open, but like, you can't keep seeing the same person, right? And then it feels like now I'm putting all these, if I have to put all these asterisks and stipulations, girl, you don't want to do it.
Right. And that was honestly, after my first relationship, again, obviously open by situation, and we broke up, we were going in different directions, and I remember like, I didn't want it again.
Yeah.
And then when I met my next partner, he didn't want to be monogamous, and I was so not wanting to lose him because this idea of like who I thought he was and what I thought our relationship would be in the future. Like I did not go into that. I went into that relationship with an anxious attachment, ready to hold on from the get-go before even getting to know who he was and what our relationship would be like. Yeah. But I went into that and I completely was like, okay, well, he doesn't want to be monogamous, so I'm either gonna have to be open or I'm gonna lose him. And I've done it open before, so I guess I could deal with it again. And then he wants to be poly, and I'm like trying to wrap my head around that, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to lose him, so I guess I'll do that. And that is something that I'm like, again, if I have to acquiesce all these things because I'm afraid to lose this person, it's actually just not the right person. And I want someone who wants to choose me, who's attracted enough to me that, so many things actually, but who is attracted enough to me that like they can see me and like be like, I like having sex with this person. I don't need to have sex with other people. And also is not so obsessed with sex, because I'm a horny guy. I love sex. Like, I'm not trying to say that, but I want someone who's not so obsessed with it too, that they're like, okay, well, I really like you, but I need sex. So any opportunity that, I want it to be open and available so that I never have to say no to the opportunity, because if it comes up, I want to take it. And to me, there's something there of like, I just don't find that attractive anymore. And we're both people who have gotten a... we spun the block.
We spun the block.
We went out in the streets. And so I think like maybe it's because I've had, not to say enough sex, but it's because I've been out there. I was a whore. I've been a whore. So, and because I've done that, I'm like ready actually to like not have to like, I'm not so like thinking about, okay, well this person's hot so I need to fuck them, and like I don't want to have to say no to this other hot person I have sex with, so let's be open, because if I meet someone and I want to fuck, I don't want to feel bad for it. It's like, no, I actually want to meet someone that I'm so excited by, that I'm like, I see someone hot and I'm like, they're hot, but like, oh, I have this other person at home that I like, I love him, like, and I want to go back to him, and so that excites me. And
I think there's something to be said from like, again, how much of it comes from this fear of being tied down, responsible for someone else's emotions, right? And I think when you're in early days of a relationship, yes, sex is the thing that feels new and it feels exciting, and I get that. And I think when you're 20 years, 15 years, whatever, into a relationship, it becomes less about the horniness and more about like, I'm in this relationship because I have a deep respect for this person and love, and I choose them. And so I get the idea once you're 20, 15 years, whatever, however long, that later it feels like, okay, maybe I want something new, I want something fresh. And while I 100% agree with you in terms of like, yes, explore with your partner, I get that, like, I am not going to be able to give. I can't be 70. Look, I could switch my wig and stay like a cheating. You know what I mean? But if you want a man, like, I can't give you that. You know what I mean?
Right,
and so it's like, I get it. And I think there's something to be said for like, I choose you. You know what I mean?
I completely agree. I also, you brought up the topic of jealousy earlier, and this is something for me too that I almost think I've been like trained out of it, of jealousy. Like, because in my first relationship, I was obviously so jealous whenever we hook up with other people. And then I started to get over it, and I just started to get used to it, and I knew he loved me and cared about me. And there were things, like I said, about like the whatever that rubbed me the wrong way, but he cared. And he's a Scorpio, and he's also like, you know, they're mysterious, and he was kind of avoidant, so he wasn't all like, I understood him though, and I knew he cared about me, and I knew he loved me. I actually didn't really ever, maybe at the beginning, but I didn't question that part, right? But I did have to get over the jealousy thing, right? And then in the next relationship, the open part actually wasn't necessarily what made me jealous. It was the poly part, because I had gotten over the fact, like, I know my partner has sex with other people, and when we were dating each other, like, we were hooking up with other people too. Sure. So, like, there was no, I didn't need to be jealous of that, but he wanted to be open to, like, dating and exploring the emotional connection with other people. And I said I would support that. It was never something I was going to do. I never looked for another partner. I never had the bandwidth. I never wanted to date someone else. I said I would be open to it. And I felt like I was open to the idea of if I meet someone else and want to date them, sure I can, but I wasn't interested in doing it, and I never did it. But when he would hook up with other people, especially when he was gone for a while, I was always scared. I was like, okay, well, is he gonna start to like this person? And he was very intimate with people, and then he would tell me that, you know, we did this, and we had drinks, and we, you know, we went back to their place, and then we had the best sex, and all this, like. So I was always afraid, not necessarily that he was hooking up with people, but I was like, is this person he's gonna make a connection with? And then he's gonna wanna like entertain that, and then what about me?
And then where do I fall?
And then where am I gonna fall? And then what if he's gonna like shift that? And that's just not a world that I want. And we were so new that like, you could say I'm gonna be a primary, but like, it's only been 3 to 4 months. We could be 2 months from in with both of them, and now you're like, oh, I want to make him the primary, and I'm like, well, I definitely don't want to be the secondary.
It's period. It's 3 to 4 months, and you're already tired of having sex. Well, wake up.
Oh,
You're tired.
We can't. No, we can't.
No, we can't. No. I'm not talking about
that.
If
he's watching, he already knows I'm talking about him, but we can't.
But I'm just saying, like, the idea of like, and because this is to my earlier point of like, I understand it 15, 20 years down that you're already tired of, wake up, get some coffee.
Yeah.
You can tell I'm Brooklyn.
Yeah.
You know
get some coffee. Wake up.
But
you're not goofy, bro.
What do you mean you're tired? You know, and I think, and these leads into my story, but I know you were about to say something about jealousy. So.
Oh, yeah. And so I had to like get over the jealousy part of that. And every time it would come up, you know, he would tell me, well, this is like the type of relationship you signed up for, the poly structure. And I always was like, well, you're right. I did sign up for it. Like, it is like this thing that like I've signed up to be in a relationship that's structured like this. So I kind of do have to take the responsibility to somehow navigate my feelings and not necessarily put them all on you, because it's not like this is a surprise.
Yeah, it's
but
not cheating.
I was lying to myself about what I wanted to try to acquiesce to what he wanted, because I didn't want to lose him, and it just always led to fight. And then when he did meet someone that he wanted to see, I mean, I could bear, and there's circumstances around that too that I'm not gonna air out dirty laundry, but like, it was so, that was like, once he did actually, I was like, oh, I tried for like the 4 weeks that they were kind of seeing each other, but I was never going to be able to get over it. And the crazy part is that person was only visiting town. I mean, they were only in town for the month. Like, they weren't even going to be here. But I was like, well, now you want to go, like, you've brought up even visiting them in another state.
Yeah.
Like, this is...
Yeah. And I will say, before I get into my story, it was so interesting being your friend, and I consider you one of my best friends, but it was so interesting being your friend during that time because, and not in a shady way, but
and we used to call, when we call, we have like
hours long,
yeah.
Right, and so I think, and this is what I mean, I want to believe that there are people for whom, and I meet people who still stand by it, but I want to believe that there are people for whom this works, poly and ethical non-monogamy in whatever way it works.
Yeah.
It was interesting being your friend because during the time, because I saw that it was coming from a place of like, you felt like you needed this person. You felt like do you know what I mean? And it reflected back to me a lot of the ways that when I realized that I didn't want to do poly anymore, the ways that I used to act, right? Because I was like, oh, like, okay, well, you know, because I saw early on, I was like, you don't want to be poly. You don't want to, and you can't tell somebody, you know what I mean?
And you probably did tell me, and I was like, no.
You
probably did, and I was like, no, I want to try it.
But right, but that's what I'm saying. You can't. Sometimes people have to go through it and feel it, and so you can't say, "Girl, like, wake up." You don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But I knew that when I was going through it, it felt like, okay, I felt the same thing. This is what I signed up for, so he's not exactly cheating, so I can't get angry. But like, why do I feel the things that I do?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'm immature. Then I'm not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And
let's get into some of my stories. I mean, and I believe in walking these men walking like a dog. Like, I truly, and it really is. It's so funny because I was on a date the other day, and you know, like I said, the way that I've sort of merged my experiences is that like I want to date in a way that is open and honest, which is like when I'm in early stages of dating, I'm dating multiple people and I'm letting people know that I'm not dating you exclusively until I feel like we've developed enough consistency and connection for me to say, hey, I don't wanna date other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that is a modern way of looking at it, because some people will say, you know, if you've gone on 2-3 dates with a person, you should know I'm ready to cut all my other hoes off. So I think that it works out to you. For me, the reason I choose to do that is because I know I've come from a place of like being so willing to tunnel vision on a man so early that I realized, hey, I didn't demand a certain level of consistency for you before I was willing to enmesh my life with yours.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm at a point where I'm like, no, you actually have to show me. I have to draw lines in the sand, and we'll talk about this later.
That's interesting. I have a thought, and yeah.
Right, but the idea that it has to come from this place of like, oh, I don't want to lose you. I don't want to, you know what I mean? You're starting already on shaky foundation.
Yeah.
So the date I had gone on a couple days ago, he was like, oh, you know, I don't know if I like want to say, if I can say this, but like I want to be the like number one person you're dating, and like that feels like a bad thing to say. That feels like a scary thing to say. And I said, no, you should say that. And I'm like, stand on that. Like, you should want to be. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and I was so scared to demand that from, or to require that from someone, that like, no, you have to show up in the way that lets me know that you feel like you want, because that's how I want to show up for you, to let me know that I feel like I want this position in your life and this place in your life, and I'm going to earn it. I don't think anyone has to earn love, but I do think you have to, oh God, what is the word I'm looking for? I think you have to, I think no one is required or deserves a place in your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do think there's an earning of vulnerability. There's an earning of intimacy. There's an earning of closeness, right? No one is owed that.
Yeah.
Right? So I do think there's a certain level of earning. But girl, I had so many experiences when I was deep in poly with big A, not the little one. When I was deep in poly, girl, one time we were dating for years at this point. We we're hosting a dinner party. Oh, it was so cute. It was so kind. I thought it was so mature. And it's mostly his friends. It's some of my friends. Were you there? No, I think our mutual friend Tywell was there.
Okay.
And this girl comes up to me, and mind you, me and my man are hosting the party.
Oh,
this
would make me.
Girl comes up to me. So many of my friends know this story. This girl comes up to me, and she's like, "How do you know my man?" And I was like, "Well, that's my man." Homegirl goes, "Oh, so we've all slept with him." Now, bitch, first of all, she ate me up.
But second of all, you swinging.
First of all, bitch, if you don't put your hands up, ho, and that's the thing, I'm not even really giving you a chance to put your hands up because you already swung. And ow, bitch, you hit me right in my jaw, ho. Fuck you, ho. No, because
that is nasty.
What a nasty way to eat a bitch up. And she ate me up good.
And she wanted to do that.
She wanted, and that's the thing. You can't, when this is the type of relationship you signed up for,
right?
You can't be like, he's cheating on me. Hey, Barbara, this is Shirley. You can't do anything like that.
She wanted to power play
She wanted to power play that, and I wanted to kick her in her solar plexus. So that told me, you're not built for this life.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I was like,
because the subtext of that, if I was acting, if I had to play that character, I would. This is my homework that I would leave at home.
Yes.
And but this would be all in the
all
line.
my character work.
The power of that line is, you're not special, bitch. You're just the bitch for right now. We've all fucked him. We've all dated him. Let's see how long you last.
And if I'm playing that character, my objective is to cut you. Right? That's a weapon. Right? I tell my students who, if you're watching this, you know too much about me. The text is a weapon, and you decide what is a dagger, what is an axe, what is you know what I mean?
It's giving very like, this is so cute. Like, I hope it lasts. Oh my god! So we've all fucked
and
him.
Everybody else in this room.
So exciting!
My god! Look at what we're together.
Sister wives.
I wonder
who the next one
drag
is.
her up and down the boulevard. I wanted that hoe to.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you know, I don't even know your name. But if you listening, ho, I'm still on your ass.
I want somebody that's going to be like, my man, only. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm happy. And maybe I, like, again, the full circle back of, like, I've tried this expansive love. And I do think that there is probably some elements of the freedom that I've experienced that are probably that are involved in maybe how I give love and all that. But, like, in terms of, like, monogamy or non-monogamy, like, I want monogamy, like, and maybe it's because I saw my parents have it, and like you see it on TV and film, and I see people have it all the time in the world, and I just like, that's what I want, and I know that there are other people out there that also want that. I don't have to conform to fucking being open or poly just because those are the people that I've met for now. I can wait until I meet a person that wants the same relationship style as me, and we can both be my man. I'm happy.
No, yeah, I want to be, we go together real bad, we're locked in real down. And the thing that story taught me is, like, it comes with a certain sense of, again, I feel no, and I don't think you should feel ownership of your partner, right? But I feel like I'm hands off, he can do the that to me felt like a certain level of, it's too close. It's just too much. I don't want...
Too many people could say my man.
Too many, and I think I said that to you when I was dating him. I was like, I don't like that every bitch down the block can say me too. No, me as well. And it could be a new bitch tomorrow who's added to, I don't like that.
Right.
And it's not about your body count. It's not about any of that. It's about the fact that we're all concurrently, so to me then nothing feels special.
Yes.
And I think I get to say I want something to feel special.
I'm sad enough when I ask you to hang out and you're like, I have plans with my friends, I can't. If you tell me, I have another date, I'm killing myself.
No, well, period.
And if you're watching this, please do not.
No, don't do that.
I probably shouldn't say that.
Right, we'll debate taking it out and then we'll probably
keep it in.
So, after that relationship was in a long distance relationship, which took up a lot of my emotional space and time, and it was interesting to me because I think, at some point we had a conversation about exclusive, and and what that looks like in a long distance relationship. And I went into that conversation thinking, okay, we're gonna break up because I don't want to be poly anymore. And I also understand the desire. You know, you said earlier that you were a hoe, and I understand the desire because I love sex. We're sexually liberated people on this show. Okay, we love sex.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, he's not gonna want to give that up, and da 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 da, and all of this. And so I found myself almost advocating for an open relationship, even though it's not what I wanted, because I was like, I understand that sex is a real desire to have. And still, I want someone, as impractical as it may sound, it's like I still want someone who's gonna be like, no, I can control that urge because I want to do it with you. Now, it is impractical, but that just means fewer people are actually compatible with me, and I'm actually not as scared of that as I used to be.
And honestly, there's something attractive about another person choosing you and being
I
like,
mean
oh,
choosing.
I
want you to have options.
There's options, but I choose you. And there's also something exciting personally, maybe from having experienced those relationships a lot, and like now really freshly kind of like pushing that away and being like, no, like I'm not interested in that. About like choosing someone too.
Yeah.
Like something exciting me, like I'm not even gonna get into it, but like seeing someone at the gym and being like, wow, he's really hot, and then thinking like, oh, I'm thinking about this guy that I'm talking to, and like,
and that's what I'm saying.
I want to see him later.
I don't want you to turn off that part of you. I'm a secure and confident enough woman that we can be walking down the street and I could be like, oh, that girl is hot, isn't she? Or whatever.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I don't want you to turn that part off of you. And I do want you to be attractive. If my man couldn't pull up, and then this might be toxic now, and this is the hosts are hot and the ticks are hotter. If my man couldn't slide in a bitch DM and get that bitch to wanna... What? Are you ugly? I'm embarrassed. What do you mean you can't
I
pull
don't
up the
mind.
bitches?
I'm like, wait, he's mine. Like,
No, yeah.
I actually want you to not want him because I don't want to fight.
And I want to fight. I am a fighter, and I'm a lover. But I think if my man hit the group, if I put my man in a group chat, not like put him in the group chat, but put a picture of him in the group chat, and the group chat is like, I love that for you, I'm
about to jump.
Right. And it's not that I am not going to date him because of it. Am I dating him in secret now? Yes. Yes, because now I have a secret. Can you keep it? It's something to, like, I want to, and I don't know what it is. Maybe this is my next frontier in therapy. But, like, I don't think, I want to feel like, yeah, we're both attractive and whatever. It's not that important to me. But there is something would die in me if I was feeling like, oh, my man is cheating, and it's just he's in other bitches' DMs and they're saying no.
Actually, I'm not gonna get into it, but I told you about
yes.
And
I would be like, this is embarrassing.
That did happen.
This is it. And were you well? This is embarrassing. If you're in other bitches' DMs, they better be like, oh my god. First of all, they really should be in your DMs.
Yeah.
But if they're not like, oh my god, like yes, I pulled him. Like no way. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, trying to cheat on someone and then you're not even successful.
You're not even
other bitches saying no.
You look like first name boo boo, last name fool. And now I better go put on my red nose too. Fuck you. Go to hell. So maybe Hollywood relationships can work.
I also think to like your point of like there ends up being a hierarchy. I mean, it's not like friendship in which you can come up together and like there are plenty of like trio, quadruple friendships where everyone is sort of an even playing field. It's not that people don't do their own thing with different people at times, but like you don't necessarily feel like people are closer or like one up. And they might be closer, but you don't necessarily feel like there's like a one up. Yes. And with romantic relationships, it's just different because there is such an interlinked like intimacy and like a intertwining of lives that is there that is really hard to unless you're doing kitchen table, which maybe that's the healthiest way to do it.
Maybe that is the healthiest way to do it.
But that's also because we don't want to be poly, so like we're
trying to mitigate it as much as possible. And I think right, truly the hard part because it's not. There really is a sense of like you can't just be friends with these people. I get different things from different friends, right? Like I have friends I want to do hood rat shit with. I have friends who I'm inviting to a gala. You know what I mean? Like I have friends who I know I can be more emotional.
It's the gala girl.
It's the gala girl. That's exactly what I gave. I have friends who I can be like more emotionally vulnerable with. I have friends who I'm like, you're the party girl, and I know that when I want to go to you for a party. So I get that. You gotta fuck the whole community. Everybody on the block gotta know you.
Right.
Biblically.
Community top, community bottom, community dick.
Community dick. And sorry, sister, he's not my man is your man is my man is your
Yeah,
man.
I don't want him on Thursdays
I
and
don't
Fridays.
want him. Those are the worst days in that.
Like, if he's community dick, then he's not, inherently, he's not mine. I don't need my man to be for everybody.
And you know, I don't need him to be for everybody. And to be honest, my niggas know, if you dating me, you already dating 3 bitches. Like,
So maybe you are poly.
I was gonna say, maybe we've come full circle because the bitch I am at the beginning of the month is not the bitch I am in the middle of the month, is not the bitch I was yesterday. You know what I mean? Like, it's, I already, what man said, I switched my wig, make him feel like he cheated.
Yeah.
Like, you really got time for 4 other bitches? You're not investing fully in these 3 bitches that you're dating right now.
Right.
But that's my thoughts. Take it or leave it. I'm gonna get into our last question.
Oh, yeah.
Before we do our wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, oh God, these ghetto ass napkins. It is open/poly the standard in queer relationships. And I wrote this question for Morgan because, you know, I'm here for my gays, and I'm an ally. Stop. And I feel like I experience a lot of my almost specifically gay male friends. A lot of my lesbian friends don't seem to engage.
Oh gosh.
I don't know the same.
They're
way.
not about that. I don't even know where they meet each other.
And
like, lesbians, where do y'all meet other lesbians, actually? Because I don't see y'all at the gay bars all like that. Like, there's not that many lesbian bars, or maybe they're hidden. This is a genuine question. I'm not even being shady. I love y'all down. I mean, y'all fight for us. Y'all probably do more for the gay community than gay men. So let's stand on that. I just really am curious.
Yeah.
Anyways, y'all learn about the open thing, which I respect.
Right, and I think it's so funny because I think being a straight woman, whenever like people like idolize straight men, usually my gay male friends, I'll be like, have them. They're actually crazy. But anyways, I have experienced that for a lot of my gay male friends, open is the standard.
Yeah.
And to different degrees of enjoyment. Some of them love it, some of them hate it. What do you think?
I think, interestingly enough, it does kind of feel like it's a standard. I think it is a little harder to find younger, especially like 20s and 30s gay couples that are not open. Even if they're not on Grindr or like on the apps, they are still like open and like allowed to do that. And I will say, like, my first relationship, right, it felt very situational. We were like, well, this is the situation we're in, so we should be open because logically this is what would make sense. I think if we were straight, I don't know if that would have ever crossed our minds. Like, 99% of the straight people I know would never be open. They would never even think about it. They would never even broach the discussion. You, now.
Not right now, me now.
They would never even broach the discussion, and there is something to the fact that we're gay, and we were like, okay, well, you know, plenty of gay relationships are like open, like that's what you do, and especially older gays end up being open, which again, I've already said, like, I can really understand that. But I do think that. I also think that being open a lot of times in gay relationships comes from maybe not always the healthiest place. Like, I think sometimes a partner decides they want to be open later in the relationship because they feel like they're missing something from their partner, and you know, they think that being open is going to fix that when really they probably just shouldn't be with that person anymore, which is like way harder to sort of come to terms with, and like, let's just open up the relationship and like start seeing other people. Mm-hmm. But like a lot of times, again, like we said earlier, that leads to really seeing other people, and now all of a sudden you have an emotional connection to someone you just met online, and now you got to tell your boyfriend that you like someone, or you don't, and now you can never see them again, but now like there still feels like some emotional whatever thing in there. Or people are just super not okay with like being satisfied. Like people, there's this instant gratification, and Grindr is a crazy app. Like, it's a grid full of bitches that you could message all of them. I guarantee at least one person is gonna want to come hit it or let you hit it.
Right. And when you were telling me about Sniffies, like, that's crazy.
Oh, Sniffies is like the map. I mean, I think I talked about this last week. It's a map. You can be like, this person lives on Fountain and Crescent, and it's just a picture of their butthole with their picture. Like, and it's like, oh, do I want that or not? Or it's just a picture of their schlong. And it's just right there. Like, it's so easily accessible, and so people go into relationships with that sort of instant gratification mindset, and as much as they might want to be happy with the person, they don't know how to let go of this idea of like, what else is out there, but I still want to explore this. And so it it is a standard, and I'm almost like, I don't want to say I'm sad about it, but it's like, it feels like it's weird now to be monogamous. And I'm like when you're in a monogamous relationship, it's like, oh. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, no, I like that.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, you almost stole my answer. Like, that's exactly what I was going to say around, I think we live in such a culture of, like, the expanded nature of options is such a real thing. And, you know, the grass is always greener syndrome of, like, I could even, you know, be really happy with my partner, but there could be somebody new and novel, and, like, novelty isn't a new thing, but, like, the idea that there's always someone more attractive, there's always going to be somebody, you know, for whatever reason, smarter or skinnier or whatever it is, that we're almost allergic to the word satisfied, right?
Yeah.
And satisfied feels like a bad word because it's like, okay, you're good, but you could be great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that causes us to not really dig our heels into things, and it feels, you know. And I don't want to say, again, somebody could be happy in an open relationship, and I think for some people it does maybe work. I don't know, but the idea that, you know, shout out to Mr. Beer, I guess. Like, you know, the Plato's Cave allegory of, like, you know, someone's gone out into the world and it feels so expanded. It feels like that is really permeating the dating world right now. And, you know, I'm very aware of, because I think about, okay, the reasons why I'm doing things and the reasons why I'm thinking the way I think. Shout out to therapy. But I also know that, like, the world is making such a swing towards conservatism right now, right? And especially America. And, you know, traditional values and trad wives are all over Instagram and TikTok. And so at being a really, like, left-leaning, I think I try to be worldly or well-read, and, like, I totally love the idea of, like, decolonizing love and breaking down hegemonies, but I think the charge on us dating in 2025, and this is what Yada Huda Huda Yada is about, in terms of, like, what does it mean to be, like, young and black and going through these relationships, and, you know, in terms of, like, yes, I am a straight woman, but, like, I date men who are straight and bisexual and pansexual, and so in those ways, you know, there are queer relationships. I'm not, like, I don't claim queer for myself, but, like, the relationship is not always heteronormative in that way. And so I think
mafia.
Right. And so I think I like the idea of breaking them down, but where do we find ourselves in terms of, are we just doing things in juxtaposition? Meaning, like, am I just dating this way because I hate the idea of traditional values, and suddenly I'm in poly? That's how I found myself in poly, right? Oops. I feel like Leah Remini when she is escaping Scientology. I feel like Kaya escapes poly. But, like, I found myself in poly because I was like, oh, maybe it is immature to think about this. Maybe it is jealousy. Maybe I do have to break it down. So that's the charge on people dating in 2025, I think, finding where you fit.
Yeah. Okay, I have one more question for you. Okay. Kind of like your question to me. Do poly relationships work? Spicy.
This is hard.
Because they work for somebody, but...
They work for somebody, right? But we said the hosts are hot and the takes are hotter, so we gotta have hot takes.
Yeah.
My opinion, it's my opinion! My opinion is no, because for me, I haven't seen... If you're in a cabal of bitches, shout out to the cabal. If you're in a cabal, comment cabal down there. Because you might love it.
Prove us wrong.
You might love it, you know what I mean? And it's not that I even want to fight about it, because if it works for you, I love that for you. But it's not my circus, not my monkey, because...
Not my monkey, not my circus. Yes.
Because I feel like there's always a sense of hierarchy. Even if somebody doesn't want to put it in there, I think there's always a sense of, even if it's implicit, right? Like, some part of me just likes spending time with this person more. And I think people will say, no, I get something from you that I don't get from you, that I don't get from you. And I think that's, I almost said I think that's great. I lied.
Did I lie?
Did I
fucking lie? Yes.
Yes. I don't think that's great.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to say, like, but that's, to me, that's what my friendships give. They don't always have to be other romantic relationships.
Right.
And so I think it's hard for it to work, because you really need a sense of, like, I don't know, like, fuck it, like a sense of let go, because there's a sense of security that I have in relationships, like within myself, right? Like, I believe I'm a confident enough woman in myself to be like, I think that woman's attractive. I don't want someone who's like, oh, I'm not attracted to other people. Like, yes, you are. Like, that's not, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to shut that down.
Yeah.
But I also think you don't have to act on every urge that you have.
You don't.
And I think that, you know, it really, there is something to be said for it. I think it's sexy when a man is like, you know, I choose you. Okay, so to wrap up, what did we learn from our poly experiences? Now, something I feel like I really gained, and this is why I don't want to, even though the takes are hot, or the hosts are hot and the takes are hotter, I don't want to step on my poly bitches, because I could step on somebody's next. But the reason I don't is because being poly taught me to be so specific about what it is that I want. I learned to communicate at such a different frequency, and this is the one thing I will shout out my poly niggas for, is I learned to be like, this is a boundary. This is, because in being poly, I think in a healthy way, you have to say like, what is your boundaries? You know what I mean? Do you need, you kind of touched on it, but like, do you need me to tell you every girl I'm dating with and who I'm going on a date with? And I learned, I actually don't want to know like, oh, you had a great date tonight. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that, right? And even though that's not situations in terms of being poly that I'm putting myself in again, I am in situations where I have to be like, this is something I do want. This is how I do want you to show up, right? I dated this like traveling nurse for a while, and I learned like, oh, I actually can't really date someone in the medical field because you're on call the whole time. And like, I understand that's something you need, and I need a certain level of like, you're going away for months. That's not a kind of relationship I can sustain, right? I learned that, and before I was poly, and I think a lot of my girls who have never even touched poly, and I'm not saying touch poly is the way to do it, but we don't practice a lot of the time being able to say no, and being able to have hard boundaries, and being able to say no, say what we actively want. You know what I mean? And the poly community taught me to be able to vocalize and verbalize, and not just be like, oh, I go with the flow. No, do you want kitchen table? Do you want hierarchy? Do you want da da da? There are so many choices, and you can say I'm exploring those, but it taught me to be so specific and intentional, and that brought me into such alignment with like my goals romantically that I gotta give it up for the poly. And that was it. I know, I can't believe I ever said that. I gave you 2 claps and you're never getting another clap. Wow. San Diego, I'm still on your ass. But it don't let me catch San Diego.
Yeah, that's true. Running down.
I'm running down on her. But it gave me a sense of like, stand in it. What is it? You're not clocking that. I'm standing on business.
It's not clocking to you.
It's not clocking to you.
Like,
and San Diego made it clock, or Pablo made it clock.
I will say, I think communication is definitely probably a factor that it's helped me with. I think even more than that though, I think open relationships and like the poly of it all has really helped me sort of come to terms with, and then help navigate my attachment style, and help navigate that in a healthier way. I think I am very like anxious, preoccupied attachment style, and maybe stems from a feeling of like being abandoned easily. And so I think that's been a thing that's been a part of a lot of my relationships, and being open has sort of forced me to like have to confront that. And I do feel like I'm very aware of it in a lot more acute ways than I was before. And now I'm able to more actively and consciously make choices to communicate from a healthier place, rather than, and acknowledge when, like where a communication is coming from, so that I can actively choose to either communicate differently or not communicate at all, because I don't want it to come from that place. And therefore I can build sort of a healthier foundation and a healthier relationship. Because I think before I didn't necessarily know, or wasn't able to sort of like stop when a feeling was coming from a sort of anxious attachment place of like, I'm afraid that they're gonna run away, so I'm doing this thing because I want
Yes.
to hold on to them.
Yeah.
Versus like I really like them and I want to talk to them and I want this, and they always felt linked.
Yeah. So often the fear of abandonment is the third partner in a relationship.
Right. And so now I feel like the desire to communicate and liking someone feels, I can separate that from a feeling of like, oh, well, if they're not doing this, then they don't like me, or if I don't do this, then they're not going to keep talking to me, or I need this to happen because it's going to show that they like me, and I'm able to separate that and not allow that to sort of take the driver's seat anymore, and I can put that bitch in the back seat. And
with a muzzle.
Right. And when she pop it off, I can be like, okay, put the muzzle back on. And
I'd be like, don't make me stop this car.
right. And really base also like, just things from reality rather than anxiety. So I think that's really what it's.
Yeah. I mean, the communication, again, we don't need to harp too much on this, but I feel like I'm able to have such frank conversations, even about my partner's desires, right? Without, not completely 100%, but like, I tie them so much less to me now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's a time when the idea of your partner needing sex that feels like it's not with you was like, also, I'm not doing enough.
Right.
You know what I mean? So even getting to the place where I can be like, and I release you, is such a place that I was never able to be.
And not even just sex, just like, when you're getting to know someone and you're figuring out what they like and what they don't, and like they're saying that they like this thing, and I'm like, that thing isn't me. I'm like, okay, well, I need to find a way to be that thing, or like to try to at least adjust so I can half be that. And now, and because I feel like, oh, it's like I'm taking it personally. When I'm like, okay, well, that's just not me. And also maybe they're okay with that, but also if they're not okay.
And being poly taught me in a way that there are other niggas out there, right? And it's funny because I just talked about the over, what's the opposite of scarcity? Abundance mindset, right? But being a black girl dating, especially in Southern California, and maybe you feel this way too, I know because we've had conversations, that a lot of people feel like they're not checking for you, right? And the idea that I had to come to terms with like, oh no, you're attractive. And like feel that and own that, and like poly gave me that.
Yeah, and also when you're so locked in on one, I mean, water signs like us too, when you are so locked in on one person, it can be easy to like forget about all the other people out there way earlier than you need to make that decision.
And that's what I was saying earlier.
And so it is helpful to remember like, hey, you don't need to make this decision sooner than the decision needs to be made.
Period.
Which,
so thank you, Polly.
And thank you, Open.
And thank you, Open. I don't ever need to see you again. I hate your wig and she's sloppy. So yeah, that feels like we're not gonna have a daily download today.
This one was long, but I really hope you enjoyed the conversation and learned something. And if you wanna, chime in, or maybe you want to come on and talk about these other things from a different perspective than ours, we'd be open to that. The couch is waiting for a guest.
But so that's it. That's the episode. Go ahead and do it for the plot.
Bye.